Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of Erin's Book Club. I have another book review to do, and I am rather excited to give it to you. So the book review I have to do today is the final book in the last herald-mage trilogy by Mercedes Lackey. And I think the final book was called Magic's Price. Let me just double check. Yes, Magic's Price, which is a very fitting title for this book. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that this entire trilogy is one that I read years ago, and I remember very little of it. And I remember that the last book got very dark, and I was actually kind of afraid to read it because the other two books I really enjoyed, even though the other two books were also very, very dark. But I have to say, this is why rereading is actually something that I find very valuable. Just like watching an old movie, you know, it kind of feels like you're having some time with your best friend again. And I forgot how much I truly enjoyed this book. It again, very, very dark. There are some triggers for like rape. It's based on a lot of sexuality and how you feel with your sexuality, and if you're one that likes women, if you're one that likes men, if you're one that doesn't, just all of that, and acceptance of all of that is built in. And before I go any further, I do want to say that, as with my other reviews, this will not be spoiler free. So if you have not read the book, do read it and come back to me, because I'd actually really like to talk to you guys about it. I hear nobody saying anything about this book, which again is kind of par for the course for me, because I very rarely read books that anybody else likes to read, or I'm so far behind the hype bubble that by the time I do read them, they're not that popular anymore. So I would like to talk to others who have actually read it. First and foremost, I have to say I really, really, really dislike this cover. Vaniel, who is this fellow, he's the main character of the story, just looks dead in this picture. There's no empathy, no soul there. Same with his companion, who also just looks dead. These little creatures are kind of cool, but other than that, it just is not a cover I enjoy. However, I have to say I looked at some of the other covers, and I can't say as I enjoyed the other covers of like the individual books any better. So I think it does need a cover change, but I think it's going to be something that's going to be hard to find a good cover to work for these stories. So before I go any further, I'm going to read the back of this book so that you have an idea of what's going on. The last herald-mage, alienated from his family and unsuited to the life of a warrior or landholder, Vaniel is entrusted to the care of his aunt, Sevelle, a herald-mage in the kingdom of Voldemort. Sensing that there is something unusual about the youth, Sevelle seeks to help him discover his true talents. Yet it is not until his friend and fellow student Tylenol opens the gate of power and unleashes horror upon the land that Vaniel's latent talents are jolted awake with dangerous effects. The only thing that may save Vaniel from his own wild magic is the intervention of a companion, one of the most beautiful, mysterious beings in the form of great white horses, who bond for life with a chosen herald or a herald-mage. Though Vaniel may prove to be the most powerful herald-mage Voldemort has ever seen, if he survives long enough to master his abilities, desperate trails await him, for ill luck has taken an increasingly heavy toll on Voldemort, with each passing year claiming the lives of many among the herald mages. Even more disturbing, there is no rest for Vaniel, even in his sleep, for his dreams have long been haunted by the barely glimpsed images of an unknown enemy. One who may be only a figment of his own imagination, or the creature responsible for all the evil and misfortune that plague the kingdom. Is Vaniel foreseeing his own doom as he believes in the darkest moments, or are the dreams a warning that he will enable him to save Voldemort, his fellow herald mages, and himself? And again, it includes Magic's Pawn, Magic's Promise, and Magic's Price. It was just an all-in-all really good book. It was incredibly disturbing all the way through, especially when his final enemy did kidnap him And the part where the companion got her tail cut off devastated me. And again, the serial rape that he had to go through, very, very difficult to read. But it made you feel everything. It made you become one with the character. And even a mage as powerful as Vaniel, who apparently is the most powerful one ever, has enemies that are out to get him. And it's strange because part of you knows that the character won't be killed off because he's the main character, but part of you also feels, well, maybe I'm wrong about that because the author has killed off other main characters. And in the end, it was heartbreaking in the end how it ended up. Him dying and taking the final mage with him, and not actually even seeing that final moment, kind of seeing up to that final moment. I was crying, I'll admit it. I totally was crying. And then his life bonded being left behind and having to finish some of the work that Vaniel started is very realistic and very believable, and just makes the story that much more poignant. It just, I know I'm saying a lot of I enjoy the book without saying why I enjoy the book, but it's very difficult for me to put into words how much I enjoyed reading through these struggles, reading through the amazing growth that this character goes through. And yeah, there are points that I don't enjoy, like why the heck did he have so many children? Why the heck did we not get involved in his enemy until just before his enemy gets killed? I would have liked to have known the enemy's motives instead of, well, he's just bad. Why the heck does he not get a single break? Why is his life full of turmoil? But then at the same time, the writing is done in such a way that he is enjoying some of the little things. Like, it was such a good book, and I think this is going to be a strong contender for my favorite of this year. So, any of you that have read this book, please let me know what you think about it. Even if you don't like it, tell me why you don't like it. I'm always open to hear new things. But I don't think that my opinion of the book will ever change. I thoroughly enjoy it. I know it has problems, and I don't care. I really enjoy it, and I'm so happy to have this back in my bookshelf. And I think I'll look into more of this actual series. However, I'm worried that if I get more of the series, how good this book might have tainted it for the rest of the series of anything that's in the same world. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, I will let you know when I have another book read. Goodbye, guys.